Mike, are you saying right here, right now, live, that you like big block?
And I cannot lie.
I thought that might be it. Explain it. Explain it. Nobody likes big blocks, but you and the unlimited guys. What happened? What changed? Who convinced you?
So I don't know if I necessarily side with Bitcoin Unlimited completely, but I want bigger blocks, so I think it's not necessarily as evil as people think.
What does a big block give you? What's it give you? What's it do for you? You personally?
For me, cheaper transactions.
Why? How do you think it's a cheaper transaction?
Initially, there won't be immediate demand to fill it, so it will be cheaper.
The short-term gain for the long-term pain. I get it.
Yeah, I'm not a.
Listen to me. I want you to hear what I'm about to say. All right, with your big blockiness, and I want you to think about this. You can come back in about 10 minutes, right? But if I walked up to you and I said, "Hey, man, take these steroids. They're good for you. They're going to make you bigger. Never mind the fact that it's going to give you a tiny little dick and it's going to make your bones break." All right. But you're like, yeah, dude, but I want to be buff now. Right? That's the argument you just gave me. Can you give me a better argument than you want a small dick? Because I need a better argument than that.
Sure. So,
okay. Bring it.
So I think we should make blocks as big as possible, up to the point where propagation is an issue. I don't really care too much about data storage. And that's really all I'm getting at.
Guest 221919 says you're a Roger Sports paid troll.
Oh man, I love that. That was so great.
Isn't that great?
So someone is saying like terabyte blocks. So until we have like terabit internet, I wouldn't want terabyte blocks. And I would want so it's all about propagation for me. So I want to as soon as, gigabit internet. Right now I have gigabit internet. I have about 1,000 up and 1,000 down at my house right now.
Is that
yeah, it sucks because I'm going to be moving. I'm not going to have this internet anymore. But
right.
Let's say
is that the Google fiber?
No, it's AT&T Gigapower.
Gigapower. That's a fancy name. Gigapower. For a shared data connection where you're having to ride the backbones of your next door neighbor's porn addiction on whether or not you actually get that gig up or down, right?
It'll vary. Sometimes
connection, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's maxed out at about 1,000. I've gotten it a couple times when I've done the speed test, but essentially, I think.
By the way, it's a total fraud. Tell me about your big block.
Really?
Because.
Yeah. So a lot of people are like, Lightning Network. You don't really need bigger blocks. We can do a lot of this off chain and then clear transactions, but. I agree. I think that should definitely be kept into account when thinking about max block size, to where you don't need blocks to be, super huge, because you can have something like a off-chain Lightning Network idea. Now, when that comes around, that's awesome. But even with a Lightning Network, you're still going to want to have people be able to clear payment channels a couple times a year. It really depends on what you want. I imagine Bitcoin becoming more of a hub and spoke off-chain model with payment channels where most people only
You are just an absolute heretic, aren't you? You are just trying to push everybody's trigger buttons right now in the dojo. I mean,
I'm not afraid. Well, see, I'm not afraid to tell what I really, feel about this. I imagine Bitcoin becoming a hub and spoke model off chain where you really only need to make a couple payment channels. Yeah. You only need to make a couple transactions per year to lock up a couple Bitcoin. And it's going to be in my opinion, pretty secure, where you don't need to make a ton of transactions on chain, only maybe like 3 or 4 per year per person on average. The median might be like 1 or 2, where there's like a real long tail, and you have a couple people that are wanting to make very specific payment channel transactions for privacy and maybe some business reasons. where they're doing like, 30, 40, 50 transactions per year. But even with that, I'm kind of in the veer camp or ver camp of, I want Bitcoin to be used by like 1 billion people, not just like a couple million.
Hold that thought.
Okay.
We'll get back to it. We can only do little bites at a time. This is the Call-In Saturday show. I'm Not Your Lawyer. We got a little Drake coming up. Get your questions lined up for the big blocker, and let's test this out. I'm Jason.
Sure.
I'm Not Your Lawyer. We'll be back.